welcome back. So periodically throughout the year, I like to sit down and just kind of figure out what I want to do, where I'm trying to go, what I should be focused on. And I think right now at the end of the year, when everyone's talking about, new year, new me and resolutions and everything, and it's at the top of mind, would be a good time to sit and do it. So I will pull up a screen recording so you can see what I'm doing. I typed into Play Store Vision Board and pulled up an app called Vision Board. And I'm going to go in and create a vision board. Do not take a shot every time I say vision board. My goodness. I'm going to name this board 2024 because, so the way that this app seems to work is I like scrolled through a little bit to make sure it's going to work for my purposes, is that each goal that I add will be a new vision and each one will have its title, right? I'm going to title this one 2024 because the first of the goals that I would like to think about here, I would like to accomplish by the end of this year. So it's this year's goal. And the other two that I'm going to go ahead and add on this are going to be kind of open-ended. Now, I will think about them consistently throughout this year and probably continuing on forward forever. You know what I mean? But because the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to focus on my top 3 main goals. I'm going to do it that way for the sake of focus. I feel like lately my brain's just feeling a little bit all over the place and scattered, and I want to just sort of hone in and focus and really know exactly what I'm trying to do and how I'm trying to do it. So this first one is called 2024, and right off the bat, I can click from one of the categories that they have suggested here. I'm going to click health because my first and foremost goal is weight loss. I would like to get down to 200 pounds specifically. I'm going to write that because and I'm going to put the end date as the end of 2024. I'm choosing 200 pounds. Now, even though I literally just said, let's focus and be specific, I'm going to be very, very general and broad all of a sudden. I'm basing myself off of BMI in this specific instance here, and I understand that that's very broad and that I did that for a reason. But basically, I would like to reach 200 pounds, which according to the BMI will get me out of obesity range. Now, my weight loss is going to come in basically 2 phases. I have a short-term goal of 200 pounds, and that I feel like is reachable within the 1-year time limit that I'm talking about with this goal. And then past that, I can think about how long it should take me to eventually, I would like to reach an end goal of about 150 to 160. I say this all based off of, I've been down to about 215 to 225 in that range, and I felt amazing compared to how I feel now. Right now I'm sitting at about 250 to 260, and I have been for years at this point. But I just, when I was so close to 200, I felt like, oh, if I just lost another 20 or so pounds, I would be feeling amazing. So I'd like to get back to that. I know you guys have seen me try and fail on this channel to lose weight, and that's exactly why I was so hesitant to talk about weight loss on this channel, because it's been an endless cycle of my life of trying and failing, and I just end up feeling so bad and disappointed and unmotivated and embarrassed about it that I don't really talk about it a lot on the channel or really even in life. But I know that losing weight would be the most important, impactful thing that I could do for my life, because not only would it just greatly, drastically improve, not only for the physical health aspects of it, a lot of members of my family have died from heart attacks from obesity, and I do not want to join that list. But also, just for my own mental health, my self-confidence takes a little, it has a little chunk missing, right? Because I know there's something that I can't do, and I don't like that. I feel like I want to take the hardest thing I've ever done and accomplish it so that I can so that I can just go forward knowing that it doesn't matter if it's the hardest thing you've ever done, been there, done that, you'll accomplish it. That's the vibe, like that's the mindset I'm trying to look for, right? So here they give you the option to add your own pictures. So I went through and kind of scrolled through images from Google. Just pulled random images. I just Googled. These are random images that I just literally typed in whatever word or thought, and we'll go through what I'm thinking, and clicked on things. So this is one of the first photos that I want to add. It's a before and after photo. As I said, random photo. I don't know this person. She lost 60 pounds, which is kind of ironic. Like I said, I would like in this first round to lose 60 pounds within this year. And so I liked this photo because it's a before and after. In the before photo, she's very like leisurely type of activity, and she's more, and she's weighing more. In the second photo, she weighs a lot less. She's like doing a more active type of activity. And because of that sort of like change in activity, of general activity in her life, of course I'm inferring so much from this picture, but it's like, it seems like because of that change of lifestyle, she has like this whole new type of life and health that came with it. And I just wanted that vibe in my vision board. I like that this vision board is an app. I'm doing it this way this year, a little different. Usually I just draw it, or like I've done it different ways. Usually I don't stick to a top 3 either. I just add like whatever feels right to add, and they're usually big goals and small goals or whatever. But this time I just want to keep my top 3 big goals in an app so that whenever I'm feeling down or unmotivated or not sure of where I should be doing or what I should be, like whatever, I can, I have this frame of reference with me no matter what. Oh, wait, hold on. I wasn't done editing that. I want to add more photos to that. I'm going to add this photo here as well. Now, the way that I have seen some amount of success in losing weight, feeling good, both mentally and physically, has been fasting, like intermittent fasting, or even like longer period fasting. I've fasted for I've fasted for 5 days at the longest. Fasting, I know it's like kind of a controversial thing. It's like becoming less so, I feel like, right? Because honestly, I am no expert at all. But from my research, the science seems to be there on it, on reaching ketosis and reaching autophagy and all of those things. It seems to be making sense to me. So when I did try it, I felt good. I did lose weight. I didn't feel like I was creating any sort of bad relationship with food or anything, or worsening my already bad relationship with food. Like I felt like I was actually bettering it. I felt like I was taking control. So not only was I losing weight, but I also just felt good mentally. Like I had a sense of control over my eating, and that was huge for me. But as with anything, I'm not consistent enough with it. So I don't necessarily, so all that says, like, I don't blame the just because it didn't work, it's like, I don't blame the fasting, I blame me. And would like to give fasting another try. And I'm not saying that that's what's going to work for me, but I'm just saying, like, that's, of all the attempts that I've made, that's the closest I've ever gotten. That's the best I've ever felt personally. So far through my, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I've clarified enough. I'm going to go ahead and add this photo too, because again, I just need to focus on eating more healthfully, more nutritiously, more fiber and vegetables and greens. Like I could absolutely live off of cheesy potatoes. And now usually I'm talking vegan cheese because I usually only consume vegan cheese. But either way, the point is, it's like all I eat is sugar and carbs, which is more sugar. So all I eat is sugar. So I really would like to get back to just, you see here like nuts, grains, pastas, proteins, vegetables, that kind of stuff, instead of like vegan pizzas and vegan ice creams and French fries and potatoes and stuff like that. So lastly, in this category, I want to add this guy. He just gives off the vibe to me that he has worked really hard recently and has just accomplished something that was really hard, and he seems really, really pleased about it. And so I think that that's kind of a good end cap on this category, at least for now. Of course, I can change these at will over the time, and that's why I like these instead of like a set drawing that I've already drawn. I can modify this pretty easily. But I like this guy, I like the vibe, and I like that to put him in there last, because like that's, I don't know, it feels like a good end cap to me, right? Where it's like all of these things I'm going to do to get to that goal. And I'm looking forward very much to that feeling that he seems to be feeling there. I'm going to go ahead and add another category. Let me think about what I want to name this one, because this one is not something that I want to like have accomplished by the end of 2024. This is something that I want to do consistently throughout 2024, but also just beyond forever, hopefully, until we are dead. So that works for me. Wait. Oh, the category. Okay, so that's relationship. So the next, the titles at first are kind of throwing me out. It's like the category is the title, kind of. Anyways, I am going to make the next, and I'm actually going to skip all that because there's no end date or anything. Because like I said, this is something that obviously is like, I would like to work on my relationship, and my relationship has the end goal of like marriage and children, and then literally like till death do us part. Hence the name. Now I know this, boy, are we going to get all kinds of controversial in this, right? But I know this is also a little bit controversial, but I tend to stick to very stereotypical gender roles in life in general, but particularly in my relationship. And so my relationship is something that I would always like to keep as one of the main things that I'm thinking about and focusing on and making sure is going well in my life. Now, I am going to get very, very specific to me and my relationship. And I'm just making that clear before anybody gets riled up. I need to work on emotional control within my relationship. So I'm going to go ahead and add this picture here. And I like that, like, of these three options, you can choose which one you want. And that's why I'm going to add that pic, because, see, basically, here's what's going on, is that I don't have the level of emotional control that I would like to have. Now, my partner, boyfriend, whatever you want to call him, he's a male, just to be clear. But my partner, I call him partner because he's more than just a boyfriend. He's more than that to me. But he has become quite good and helpful at helping me deal with my emotions. However, whenever he needs to help me do that, I then come away from that experience feeling less than, or not good enough, because I couldn't control them by myself. And I do control them by myself, but it's like, in those moments, if I were alone, I feel like I wouldn't be able to, and that I do not like. I don't want to rely on anything other than myself and my ability to control myself, right? So I just, like, I don't want to feel less than in my relationship. I feel like, while that's not like a huge or very prominent issue or anything, I feel like it's an underlying issue that if like left unchecked could cause some issues down the road, right? Like I don't want to be in a relationship where I'm not feeling good enough, all because my mental health tells me that. It's like I don't want to get to a place where I'm maybe like making him feel like he's the reason I don't, it's like when someone puts their best efforts in and the other person still isn't feeling like it's enough, that sucks for that person who's putting all their effort in. And I don't want it to get to a place where it's like that, basically, right? It's kind of like my point. And please understand that everything I'm saying is like off the cuff, really. Is like I've kind of course I've thought about all it, but it's like the ways that I'm saying it to you and everything is like really pretty off the cuff. So if everything's not exactly explained out well, it's not. But basically it's just like I don't want me not feeling like I'm good enough to be in a relationship to have any sort of negative effects on my relationship. I think that sums it up pretty well. So I want to just work on my emotional control. And I want to do that. Oh, I think I added this picture too because it was supposed to. I wasn't sure if the other app I was using had like a picture as the title. This one has titles, so that picture just represented relationship to me. And I've got this picture here, and it's highlighting the prefrontal cortex of the brain. I feel like that is what's helping me gain the emotional control that I've already gained. And I feel like that's what's going to, like, what I need to focus on to continue to gain more, is to continue to, like, strengthen these practices until they become, like, my homeostasis, they become my go-to. Where I am typically in my prefrontal, I'm typically very, oh no, I think my screen recording just stopped. Oh no, it sure did. I'll pull that back up. As I'm saying, I want to just continue to focus on the things that exercise my prefrontal. A lot of my past life and experiences have been me exercising my amygdala, bad decision making, out of control, financially, emotionally, sexually, all of those things. And so my amygdala throughout my past life got a lot of exercise, and I'm very much accustomed to going to those sort of bad habits that I formed and those bad ways of thinking and the bad mindset that I kind of had formed. And what I'm finding is really, really helping me get a more clearer, positive, prefrontal, like logical, in control type of mindset, is just strengthening my prefrontal, problem solving in all of the ways that you can problem solve. So for me, that comes in the form of replacing my old negative habits and like hobbies, which were, like I said, partying, or and not to say I don't do those things at all anymore, but I'm just like balancing it out, doing more of good than bad, right? So I'm replacing like partying, meeting up with random dudes and doing all kinds of stupid financial things with better hobbies like crocheting or roller skating or trying to learn how to edit or things like that, where I'm problem solving. Things like crocheting or editing or roller skating, there's a lot of just problem solving, step to step involved. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like you sit down and do math problems or something, although I kind of literally started with that when I didn't have any good hobbies. I didn't know what even, I like nothing came to mind or whatever, so I just like sat down and did some math problems. And one thing that I started doing and has remained consistent throughout is word games. I very, very much like, and they are very much problem solving exercises for my prefrontal, which are very good. I love Scrabble Sprint. Really just all the various forms of Scrabble, Scrabble Sprint, and a new game that I started playing called Scrabble Blast. It's not a new game, but it's new to me anyways. So that's why, all that to say, that's why I've added the picture of the prefrontal, because to me, staying prefrontal is going to help me stay. I'm going to add this picture here. It just says calm. I want to just focus on being calm, cool, and collected at all times. Like, especially when I'm feeling upset or people are treating me wrong, or something emergency is happening, or something bad is happening. It's like, that is exactly the most when I would like to be able to stay calm, cool, and collected, but really just like at all times. So I put like, it says calm, and it's got these like blue clouds and everything, and I'm just thinking of like breathing, calming, and relaxing. Something that I've helped notice me when I start to get upset, so that I don't act out so that I don't behave like, I'm not saying I shouldn't be upset in those situations, but a lot of the times when I get upset, my behavior in that moment makes the whole situation worse, and ultimately even makes me more upset, you know? So it's good for me, even if other people are wrong, or even in an emergency situation, for me to stay very calm and very logical and put together. And to me, what helps me do that the very, very most is to breathe, take deep breaths, and just release the tension. I typically have tension in my jaw, for sure. Like, it literally feels weird for me to put my jaw not tense, and my shoulders. And so I put this picture here just to remind me to breathe, relax, both physically and mentally, and to stay calm, especially in the most uncalm of situations. And the third vision, I'm going to name that growth, probably. And we're going to name this socials, because this next goal, and we're going to just skip all the end date and everything. It doesn't even have an end date. The next goal is growing my socials. I would like to grow my community, not only here on YouTube, but, you know, on TikTok and all the Instagram and all the other platforms that are coming and going. I, for one, just feel like I personally want a community that I can relate with, of course, like anybody does, and I currently don't really feel like I have that in real life, and would like to, you know, use my socials as a way to hopefully create people that are in real life, but also just like appreciate that even if I don't know them personally, or even if like we're not necessarily like, even if most of the relationships online or something, that like there are people out there who get me, who understand me, like, because that just feels good, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna add this picture because that just represents socials to me. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add consistency. Now, of course, another reason why I'd like to grow my socials is because I would eventually like to turn this into a business. I would like to monetize, and I would like to start making money from this. Not because I would like to just sell a bunch of products and be a rich influencer necessarily, but because I would like to eventually be able to use this channel as an income that I can use to fund an animal rescue. I like to work with animals, and I would love to run an animal rescue. I'm very good at it. I've done it in the past. And so one thing that I realize about it is that it is expensive. It costs a lot of money. Running a sanctuary as a public charity, 501c3, is a really great option, and I'm glad that a lot of people go that way. But the issues that I ran into when doing it that way was that, see, when you're working with public funds, you have to have a board. And a lot of the time, it's kind of difficult to work with a board. In my experience of it, I was finding where basically the board members have the authority over how things are run and how money is spent, even over the recommendations of the caregivers who are on the ground every day, all day, working with these animals, who know what they need and exactly how things should be done. And I'm not saying it's like it's bad to have oversight. Like I'm saying that's a great way to do it, but I'm just saying that I personally don't want to do it that way. I would like to have a much smaller rescue. Well, I wouldn't like to have a smaller rescue, but I'm saying I would like to privately fund it, and therefore I recognize that means I will probably be smaller time. but I personally just think that will work best for me and the animals that I will be able to help. So in case just anybody is wondering, the overall motivation behind trying to monetize this channel, the motivation behind having this channel is community, but eventually I would, like I said, like to monetize it, and the motivation behind that is to fund a rescue. So consistency, I've added that photo in there because I feel like really the biggest two things that I need to grow my socials are consistency, and I'm going to add this photo in as well because I feel like creativity is also super important in growing. I have decided from the beginning that I'm not necessarily ever going to be... Oh, I just stopped the screen recording. I'll pull it back up in a sec. I've decided that I don't think I will ever be a very large channel at all. My hopes and aspirations are quite small. I would just like to get big enough that I make a little bit here and there, enough to just, care for a few animals, you know what I mean? Because I'm not going to chase the algorithm. I'm not going to chase the trends and do things like that. Like I said, a big part of this is the community, and I think that takes authenticity from me. I think that takes me saying things and making videos about topics and things that are genuine to me and things that I care about. I know a lot of influencers find success in just saying what they know will get views, and I have mixed feelings about that, honestly. It's it's kind of icky, but I don't know. I'm not sure if my views on it are narrow-minded. I'm not sure. They're not even shaped out, so I'm not even going to really share them because I would just go off on a whole thing. But I just decided that I want to be very authentic with this channel. As you can see, it's like I'm sitting here in jammies, no makeup, bad lighting. Sometimes it's just going to be that. I'm not ever going to be this big high production YouTuber. The vibes that I want for this channel and the vibes that honestly I'm looking for a little bit more on YouTube in general are kind of what it used to be, where it's just Trisha Paytas in her bedroom saying what she wants to say. And I know she's got a bad example because she's a crazy troll, but she's not necessarily always authentic. But you kind of get what I'm saying. It's I want Emma Chamberlain, early day Emma Chamberlain, where it's just her in her bedroom saying stuff, or just her with a dollar store haul being funny, just people being people, you know what I mean? I'm over the whole high production value of it all, frankly. And so I've, like I said, decided that I'm gonna keep my channel just comfy and cozy and casual and cute, I guess. Is this recording? Let me start a recording, so we'll pull this screen back up. Because I think that we didn't have much of a chance to see this one. But really, those are the only two photos that I had pulled up to add to this section anyways, is because I feel like that's literally all that I want or need to do with this. Now, again, going back to that traditional, going back to point 2 with the relationship and gender roles, I don't, to put it quite frank, I don't work, and I don't have to, and I don't want to. And so it's with this, with monetizing this, with the third point, it's not something that I ever will rely on necessarily. But you know what? Literally, as I'm saying that, what am I even saying? Because it is all as I do talk about often in my relationship, it's very important that I have something to fall back on, that I don't solely rely on that relationship too. So I don't even know literally what route I'm going down, because I'm not even talking truth. But the point is, it's like I have a little bit okay, so the point I'm trying, like I said, this video is very off the cuff. If you can see, I'm not I'm not all planned out here, but the point is basically that where's my board? Oh, here it is. Oh, I didn't save the growth board. Oh no. Hold on. Okay, sorry, because I'm sure whatever thought I was on got cut off again. This video, like I keep saying, is so informal, like the whole channel is. I think that was actually the whole point I was making. But I had to go back and just very quickly redo the growth section because I didn't save it before I exited all the way out. Let me make sure I am in fact recording. I'm not. So 3, 2, 1. Now I'm recording. Here we have 2024, the year of health for me. Till death do us part. I'll be working on and thinking about my relationship. And I, as always, will be focused on growth. But in this particular aspect, I'm thinking about my socials and just being, like I said, consistent with this and being creative about it. And there's a little play button that seems to, I'm sure that it's just gonna do a little slideshow of all the things, right? Oh, am I gonna get copyrighted for this? Is this copyright free music, you think? Probably. Cute. Yeah, I figured it would just be a little slideshow of all of it. I know this video is like crazy all over the place, but sometimes I like videos where people are just kind of chit-chatting to put on in the background while I do stuff, so I kind of figure that this could be the vibe of that video. Ridiculous part, prefrontal. Okay, so it's not perfect. You can't even see the word calm, but it's okay. Growth. I get it. That's the whole point. It's like, I know I'm sharing it publicly, but it's for me, and I get it. Can you change the music or something? Music volume? No, I don't think so. Growth. Oh, it just stays there. It doesn't like X. I thought I was gonna exit out when it was done. Okay. Cute. Okay. So, I mean, that about wraps up this vid. Those are my 3 main goals that I'm going to stay focused on throughout the year. Again, I would love it if you would share with me what you guys are working on. Like I said, a big part of this is community that involves, like, getting to know you guys that are watching me, right? So, what are you guys focused on? What are your big goals of this year? Let me know down in the comments. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a little like, subscribe while you're hanging out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!